sport climbers are obsessed with finger strength training. We do max hangs, repeaters, no hangs, anything to help us send our projects. We fantasize about gracefully pulling on one-finger pockets and sharp crimps. So why do our dreams get crushed by the pump we feel after climbing just a few meters of an overhanging section with large holes? What if I told you that your climbing training might be missing a critical link and that you could easily fix it within a few weeks to unlock that monster endurance you've always longed for? I'm going to teach you a simple exercise that will enable you to effectively clear lactate from your arms and forearms, push through the climb despite being pumped, maintain good foot technique while tired, and find optimum resting positions. All that is packed into one effective fingerboard drill. Get ready for a game-changing approach that is guaranteed to completely transform your sport climbing. But before we continue, if you like this content and want to see more, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Now, let's revolutionize your sport climbing. If you're a beginner climber looking to safely and effectively build an endurance base for overhangs, or even if you have a solid bouldering background but want to transition to sport climbing, it can be frustrating that the holes that get you pumped aren't even small crimps, but long overhanging runs on seemingly large jugs. Even more frustrating is that spending hours cranking out hangboard repeaters doesn't seem to make any difference. The reason for this is that the muscles contributing to your pump are not only your finger flexors and extensors, but also your wrist flexors, your biceps, your triceps, and the muscles in your shoulders and back, all of which are heavily engaged when climbing steep terrain. The best way to address this is to do extended circuits or linked problems on the spray wall or on a system board, which I've covered in the previous video. But what if you want fast results and you don't have the time to get to the gym 2 to 3 times per week? Don't worry, I have a solution you can use at home. Enter the Fingerboard Row Pyramids. To do the exercise, you'll need a hangboard with some jugs. For beginners, this could even mean bucket holes. I use the Beta board from Escape Climbing and combine it with the Beastmaker 2000. First, you must find feet support that's behind the hangboard. Positioning the feet further back or higher up lets you simulate a steeper overhang. Choose a pair of medium to large holes you want to train in the set. You can use bucket holes, medium to large jugs, or pinches. You will now perform 10 feet assisted rows that mimic the movement on an overhanging wall. When doing the rows, focus on maintaining a good pulling form, especially when you're tired. Pull your chest to the hangboard and pull your shoulder blades together. It helps to imagine yourself bending a bar. The first 10 reps should feel easy. If not, you must reduce the difficulty. You can now shake out a little bit, move your hands around the fingerboard and proceed to perform another round. This time, you're going to perform 9 reps, so you can see we are starting to build an inverted pyramid pattern. And that's the structure of the exercise. Each time you perform a series of rows, you do one less until you get to 1. At one point, you will start feeling a pump building up in your biceps and forearms, so give yourself some time to recover and carry on with the next set. The recovery periods are a great opportunity to hone your footwork and learn to find the best resting positions. One essential aspect of this type of training is that your hand goes through an entire range of angles, activating multiple muscles in your forearm and hand, which may not get that stimulus when simply dead hanging. If you're a complete beginner, stop early. There's no need to push it. It'll be much easier the next time you try the exercise. More advanced climbers should continue to reach 1 rep. Still, if you're getting pumped, your elbows start to flare up, or you just don't feel like you want to do this anymore, you can call it a day. However, if the pump is bearable, you should continue. The good news is the number of reps is getting low, so in a way, it's becoming easier. The exercise is equivalent to 5 to 10 minutes of intense climbing, depending on how long you rest. If it's your first time doing this, pat yourself on the back and stop here. If you're already progressing through a power endurance cycle, rest 10 to 15 minutes and perform another set. Try to build up to 4 to 5 sets per session. If you're going for multiple sets, consider changing the hold position to make the exercise more versatile. If you're combining this drill with other training activities like max hangs or bouldering, always ensure that you're training power endurance at the end of the session. There's nothing more counterproductive than training finger strength while you're already tired. There are a few ways you can progress the difficulty of this exercise. You can gradually ramp up the volume. You may start the exercise with a higher number of reps, like 11, but consider that if the original drill consists of 55 reps, adding an additional series of 11 reps will increase the volume by 20%. That's a rapid jump. A gentler way to progress the volume is that once you reach the bottom of the pyramid, you start climbing it again. You don't have to go far. Going 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4 can already be enough to trigger additional adaptations. You may also progress the intensity. One way to make the exercise harder is to use smaller holds. This is a good idea for very advanced climbers. Remember that what brought you here in the first place is the fact that you're getting pumped on jugs. Experiment with the position of the foot support. Move it further back, higher or lower, and see how that affects your training. Use smaller footholds to support the feet. This will force you to improve your footwork and teach you to find better resting positions. Perform the exercise one-handed, as if you were reaching for the higher hold. Finally, if you want to maximize gains and add a strength component to the equation, you can use BFR cuffs, but that's a topic for another video. I love the FRPs, and I often use them to build power endurance for steep routes whenever I can't make it to the gym. If you're new to this type of training, trust me, you're going to see some serious progress very quickly. The FRPs create a massive pump and lactate buildup in your arms and back, but if you bite the bullet and stick with it for several weeks, you'll soon be cruising those steep, juggy overhangs like a pro, to the amazement of your fellow climbers.